I sense a soul in search of answers. Wisdom is earned, not given. If you discover a tome of knowledge, devour its words. Should you already have knowledge of the arcane mysteries scribed within a book, remember that level of mastery can always increase. The greatest power is often the shortest lived. You may find ancient words of power written upon scrolls of parchment. The strength of these scrolls lies in the ability of either apprentice or adept to cast them with equal ability. Their weakness is that they must first be read aloud and can never be kept at the ready in your mind. Know also that these scrolls can be read but once, so use them with care. Though the heat of the sun is beyond measure, the mere flame of a candle is of greater danger. No energies, no matter how great, can be used without the proper focus. For many spells, ensorcelled staves may be charged with magical energies many times over. I have the ability to restore their power, but know that nothing is done without a price. The dead who walk among the living follow the cursed king. He holds the power to raise yet more warriors for an ever-growing army of the undead. If you do not stop his reign, he will surely march across this land and slay all who still live here. No mortal can truly understand the mind of the demon. Never let their erratic actions confuse you, as that too may be their plan. I did not know this Lazarus of whom you speak, but I do sense a great conflict within his being. He poses a great danger and will stop at nothing to serve the powers of darkness which have claimed him as theirs. The people of Tristram will die if you cannot restore fresh water to their wells. Know this, demons are at the heart of this matter, but they remain ignorant of what they have spawned. Seek out the domicile to which Pepin the Healer has directed you. It is there that your missions will become clear, and your methods evident. The succubus is a demon that feasts upon the essence of mortal men. You will find that Andariel has quite an appetite. The town will soon be devoid of any adult males unless you stop her feeding now. You will become an eternal servant of the Dark Lords should you perish within this cursed domain. Enter the Chamber of Bone at your own peril. You must destroy the two demons that Horizon has trapped within his sanctum at all costs. Should they escape from their imprisonment, they will create a link to this world that will make what lies below the cathedral seem like a children's tale. The once proud Iswal is trapped deep beneath the surface of this world. His honor stripped and his visage altered. He is trapped in immortal torment, charged to conceal the very thing that could free him. The Butcher is a sadistic creature that delights in the torture and pain of others. You have seen his handiwork in the drunkard Farnham. His destruction will do much to ensure the safety of this village. The lair of the Butcher is steeped in demonic power, and casting any spell of passage there could cause unexpected results. This is a place of great anguish and terror, and so serves its master well. Tread carefully, or you may yourself be staying much longer than you had anticipated. You may meet people who are trapped within the labyrinth, such as Lochdanan. I sense in him honor and great guilt. Aid him, and you aid all of Tristram. There are many artifacts within the labyrinth that hold powers beyond the comprehension of mortals. Some of these hold fantastic power that can be used by either the light or the darkness. Securing the anvil from below could shift the course of the Sinwar towards the light. Should you find these stones of blood, use them carefully. The way is fraught with danger, and your only hope rests within your self-trust. This legendary place is real, and great rewards await you should you find it. Nothing more can I say. You must be ever watchful, for Fleshdoom is an enemy who is both cruel and quick. His ebon blade is composed of the essence of evil. If you can destroy both of them, it would do much to weaken his dark master. His prowess with the blade is awesome, and he has lived for thousands of years knowing only warfare. I am sorry. I cannot see if you will defeat him. Maintain your quest. Finding a treasure that is lost is not easy. Finding a treasure that is hidden, less so. I will leave you with this. Do not let the sands of time confuse your search. The Heaven Stone is very powerful, and were it any but Griswold who bid you find it, I would prevent it. He will harness its powers, and its use will be for the good of us all. Oh, I'm afraid this does not bode well at all. This map of the stars portends great disaster, but its secrets are not mine to tell. The time has come for you to have a very serious conversation with the storyteller. What do we have here? Interesting. It looks like a book of reagents. Keep your eyes open for a black mushroom. It should be fairly large and easy to identify. If you find it, bring it to me, won't you? It's a big black mushroom that I need. Now run off and get it for me so that I can use it for a special concoction that I am working on. Yes, this will be perfect for a brew that I am creating. By the way, the healer is looking for the brain of some demon or another so he can treat those who have been afflicted by their poisonous venom. I believe that he intends to make an elixir from it. If you help him find what he needs, please see if you can get a sample of the elixir for me. Why have you brought that here? I have no need for a demon's brain at this time. I do need some of the elixir that the healer is working on. He needs that grotesque organ that you are holding, and then bring me the elixir. Simple when you think about it, isn't it? What? Now you bring me that elixir from the healer? Oh, I was able to finish my brew without it. Why don't you just keep it? Hello, good friend. I have been working on a means to increase the strength of my potions. I believe that I could brew better potions if you could just find me the correct reagents. Remember, with the correct reagents, my potions are more powerful. Excellent. Just a pinch should do it. Ah, here is a sample. It seems that there are many uses for the scrolls which are found beneath the church. I should be able to scribe a book of magic if I had enough of the proper scrolls to study. Remember, with enough scrolls, I can create a book of magic for you. Yes, I can see that when I combine these scrolls just so, I will teach you what I have learned so that you may also know more secrets of this magic. I have a quest for you, if you are brave enough to accept it. Great power can be found in some of the devices that may be hidden below the church. With the right ones, I could work wonders. Remember, the right device in my hands can become quite powerful. This is amazing. The mystic energies in this crystal are powerful, but unfocused. If you could find for me a specific staff to channel its power through, the crystal holds a magic that is strong, but you need to find the correct staff with which to focus its energy. Hand me that staff and stand back. Vitate chlorum ondunium. It is complete. The sum of our knowledge is in the sum of its people. Should you find a book or scroll that you cannot decipher, do not hesitate to bring it to me. If I can make sense of it, I will share what I find. To a man who only knows iron, there is no greater magic than steel. The blacksmith Griswold is more of a sorcerer than he knows. His ability to meld fire and metal is unequaled in this land. Corruption has the strength of deceit, but innocence holds the power of purity. The young woman Gillian has a pure heart, placing the needs of her matriarch over her own. She fears me, but it is only because she does not understand me. A chest opened in darkness holds no greater treasure than when it is opened in the light. The storyteller Cain is an enigma, but only to those who do not look. His knowledge of what lies beneath the cathedral is far greater than even he allows himself to realize. The higher you place your faith in one man, the farther it has to fall. Farnham has lost his soul, but not to any demon. It was lost when he saw his fellow townspeople betrayed by the Archbishop Lazarus. He has knowledge to be gleaned, but you must separate fact from fantasy. The hand, the heart, and the mind can perform miracles when they are in perfect harmony. The healer Pepin sees into the body in a way that even I cannot. His ability to restore the sick and injured is magnified by his understanding of the creation of elixirs and potions. He is as great an ally as you have in Tristram. Faith is absolute belief in the unseen. The priest Tremaine is from a holy order long asleep in this land. He keeps a promise and a charge issued ages ago, and sustains a union with realms that even my vision cannot reach. He knows much, but not as much as he believes. There is much about the future we cannot see, but when it comes, it will be the children who wield it. The boy Word has a blackness upon his soul, but he poses no threat to the town or its people. His secretive dealings with the urchins and unspoken guilds of nearby towns gain him access to many devices that cannot be easily found in Tristram. While his methods may be reproachful, Word can provide assistance for your battle against the encroaching darkness. Earth and walls and thatched canopy do not a home create. The innkeeper Ogden serves more of a purpose in this town than many understand. He provides shelter for Gillian and her matriarch, maintains what life Farnham has left to him, and provides an anchor for all who are left in the town to what Tristram once was. His tavern and the simple pleasures that can still be found there provide a glimpse of a life that the people here remember. It is that memory that continues to feed their hopes for your success.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen. While you are venturing deeper into the labyrinth, you may find tomes of great knowledge hidden there. Read them carefully, for they can tell you things that even I cannot. I know of many myths and legends that may contain answers to questions that may arise in your journeys into the labyrinth. If you come across challenges and questions to which you seek knowledge, seek me out, and I will tell you what I can. Ah, the story of our king, is it? The tragic fall of Leoric was a harsh blow to this land. The people always loved the king, and now they live in mortal fear of him. The question that I keep asking myself is how he could have fallen so far from the light, as Leoric had always been the holiest of men. Only the vilest powers of hell could so utterly destroy a man from within. I see that this strange behavior puzzles you as well. I would surmise that since many demons fear the light of the sun and believe that it holds great power, it may be that the rising sun depicted on the sign you speak of has led them to believe that it too holds some arcane powers. Perhaps they are not all as smart as we had feared. Yes, you speak of Lazarus, one who was once well respected in our land. Even before King Leoric descended into madness and lost his son, the Archbishop Lazarus was acting strangely. Lazarus seemed to be motivated by unseen forces, clinging to shadows, and acting out some dark plan that was not his own. I don't know what I can really tell you about this that will be of any help. The water that fills our wells comes from an underground spring. I have heard of a tunnel that leads to a great lake. Perhaps they are one and the same. Unfortunately, I do not know what would cause our water supply to be tainted. Worms that rise up from the ground? Many of the ancient writings speak of poisonous insects and foul creatures of the skies and seas plaguing mankind. It is no surprise that the very earth would offer up a similar peril now that the denizens of the underworld are upon us. While the barmaid may seem a bit confused at times, it is true that men have been disappearing from the village. It reminds me of ancient writings about a demonic temptress called Adria. Known as the Maiden of Anguish, her thirst for mortal blood was so great that she sought to learn a spell to breach the mortal realm. By seducing one of the dark sorcerers of the netherworld, Adria took the knowledge she needed and so began to lure mortal men into her dark corner of hell. If these legends are true, she is not a creature to be taken lightly. A book that speaks of a chamber of human bones? Well, a chamber of bone is mentioned in certain archaic writings that I studied in the libraries of the East. These tomes inferred that when the lords of the underworld desired to protect great treasures, they would create domains where those who died in the attempt to steal that treasure would be forever bound to defend it. A twisted, but strangely fitting end. So, you seek knowledge concerning the wars of hell, do you? Cryptic tomes speak of great battles that determine which of the demonic lords are to rule over hell. They also mention a bitter rivalry between two of these lords, Osmodon, who led the Horned Death against the armies of light, and Belial, known as the Lord of Lies. Their hatred of each other is eternal, the reasons for their loathing lost even to themselves. Tales abound that the mad wizard Horizon somehow trapped the lieutenants of these two lords of hell within his sanctum. There can be no more dangerous a path to tread than the one that falls alongside of demons. Should you also seek this path, watch your life and your soul very carefully, my friend. Farnham has taken to drinking quite heavily since his encounters in the labyrinth, but within the ramblings of this drunken man rests a legend well steeped in myth and mystery. Sit for a moment, my friend, and let me tell you of Iswal and Azurath. The saga of Iswal takes place during the lost battles in hell. Iswal was an angel who was given charge of the holy rune blade, Azurath. Leading a daring assault on the Hell Forge, Iswal was set upon by hundreds of blackened demons and was fatally wounded. The fiends cast the dying angel into a dark pit where the powers of chaos transformed him as he drowned in a whirlpool of burning blood. Evil possessed Iswal. The feathers of his wings burned away to reveal leathery skin, and horns ripped through the flesh of his head. When he finally arose from that black pit, Iswal was an angel no more. Transformed into a creature of evil, he was once again given charge of Azurath, assuring that the blade would never again be used against the denizens of hell. It seems that the Archbishop Lazarus goaded many of the townsmen into venturing into the labyrinth to find the king's missing son. He played upon their fears and whipped them into a frenzied mob. None of them were prepared for what lay within the cold earth. Lazarus abandoned them down there, left in the clutches of unspeakable horrors, to die. You must have been speaking with Wirt. His is a sad story indeed. That poor child was taken into the labyrinth by the demons, ripped from the very arms of his mother, Canis. May her soul rest in peace. The boy managed to escape, but only after they had chewed off his leg, and he has not been quite sane since. He often speaks in riddles, but his knowledge of the labyrinth may hold some truth. You recite an interesting rhyme written in a style that reminds me of other works. Let me think now. What was it? Darkness shrouds the hidden, eyes glowing unseen, with only the sounds of razor claws briefly scraping to torment those poor souls who have been made sightless for all eternity. The prison for those so damned is named the Halls of the Blind. You claim to have spoken with Lochdannen? He was a great hero during his life. Lochdannen was an honourable and just man who served his king faithfully for years. But of course you already know that. For those who were caught within the grasp of the king's curse, Lochdannen would be the least likely to submit to the darkness without a fight. So I suppose that your story could be true. If I were in your place, my friend, I would find a way to release him from his torture. Griswold speaks of the Anvil of Fury, a legendary artifact long searched for, but never found, crafted from the metallic bones of the Razor Pit demons. The Anvil of Fury was smelt around the skulls of the 5 most powerful magi of the underworld, carved with runes of power and chaos. Any weapon or armor forged upon this anvil will be immersed into the realm of chaos, embedding it with magical properties. It is said that the unpredictable nature of chaos makes it difficult to know what the outcome of this smithing will be. The Gateway of Blood and the Halls of Fire are landmarks of mystic origin. Wherever this book you read from resides, it is surely a place of great power. Legends speak of a pedestal that is carved from obsidian stone and has a pool of boiling blood atop its bone-encrusted surface. There are also allusions to stones of blood that will open a door that guards an ancient treasure. The nature of this treasure is shrouded in speculation, my friend, but it is said that the ancient hero Cain placed the holy armor Valor in a secret vault. Cain was the first mortal to turn the tide of the Sin War and chase the legions of darkness back to the burning hells. Just before Cain died, his armor was hidden away in a secret vault. It is said that when this holy armor is again needed, a hero will arise to don valor once more. Perhaps you are that hero. The priest Tremaine is a holy man from an ancient order. Their dealings with the evil forces at work are well respected and well documented. I, too, have heard legends that speak of the cursed demon blade called Shadow Fang. It is said to consume the tortured souls of its victims. These souls are trapped within its ebon blade and augment its unholy power. I have also read of a great hell forge where even the mightiest weapon could be created or destroyed. Tread carefully when dealing with Shadow Fang and its master, lest you be drawn into the sword as well. I know of only one legend that speaks of such a warrior as you describe. His story is found within the ancient chronicles of the Sin War. Stained by 1,000 years of war, blood, and death, the warlord of blood stands upon a mountain of his tattered victims. His dark blade screams a black curse to the living, a tortured invitation to any who would stand before this executioner of hell. It is also written that although he was once a mortal who fought beside the Legion of Darkness during the Sin War, he lost his humanity to his insatiable hunger for blood. There was a time when this town was a frequent stop for travelers from far and wide. Much has changed since then, but hidden caves and buried treasure are common fantasies of any child. Wirt seldom indulges in youthful games, so it may just be his imagination. Griswold speaks of the Heavenstone that was destined for the Enclave located in the east. It was being taken there for further study. This stone glowed with an energy that somehow granted vision beyond that which a normal man could possess. I do not know what secrets it holds, my friend, but finding this stone would certainly prove most valuable. The witch Adria seeks a black mushroom? I know as much about black mushrooms as I do about red herrings. Perhaps Pepin the healer could tell you more. But this is something that cannot be found in any of my stories or books, so the legend of the map is real. Even I never truly believed any of it. I suppose it is time that I told you the truth about who I am, my friend. You see, I am not all that I seem. My true name is Deckard Cain, the Elder, and I am the last descendant of an ancient brotherhood that was dedicated to keeping and safeguarding the secrets of a timeless evil. An evil that, quite obviously, has now been released. The evil that you move against is the Dark Lord of Terror, known to mortal men as Diablo. It was he who was imprisoned within the labyrinth many centuries ago. The map that you hold now was created ages ago to mark the time when Diablo would rise again from his imprisonment. When the two stars on that map align, Diablo will be at the height of his power. He will be all but invincible. You are now in a race against time, my friend. Find Diablo and destroy him before the stars align, for we may never have a chance to rid the world of his evil again. Our time is running short. I sense his dark power building, and only you can stop him from attaining his full might. I am sure that you tried your best, but I fear that even your strength and will may not be enough. Diablo is now at the height of his earthly power, and you will need all your courage and strength to defeat him. May the light protect and guide you, my friend. I will help in any way that I am able. Griswold, a man of great action and great courage. I bet he never told you about the time he went into the labyrinth to save Wirt, did he? He knows his fair share of the dangers to be found there. But then again, so do you. He is a skilled craftsman, and if he claims to be able to help you in any way, you can count on his honesty and his skill. Ogden has owned and run the Rising Sun Inn and Tavern for almost 4 years now. He purchased it just a few short months before everything here went to hell. He and his wife, Garda, do not have the money to leave, as they invested all they had in making a life for themselves here. He is a good man with a deep sense of responsibility. Poor Farnham. He is a disquieting reminder of the doomed assembly that entered into the cathedral with Lazarus on that dark day. He escaped with his life, but his courage and much of his sanity were left in some dark pit. He finds comfort only at the bottom of his tankard nowadays, but there are occasional bits of truth buried within his constant ramblings. The witch Adria is an anomaly here in Tristram. She arrived shortly after the cathedral was desecrated, while most everyone else was fleeing. She had a small hut constructed at the edge of town, seemingly overnight, and has access to many strange and arcane artifacts and tomes of knowledge that even I have never seen before. Tremaine is an occasional visitor to our town, and seems to have little problem coming and going. It is strange how at times anyone who tries to leave Tristram is hunted down and slain by the cloaked riders, and at other times it is a simple matter to leave. I think it is that uncertain fear that keeps some of us here. But we are glad for Tremaine's bravery and luck in keeping some contact with the rest of the kingdom. The story of Wirt is a frightening and tragic one. He was taken from the arms of his mother and dragged into the labyrinth by the small, foul demons that wield wicked spears. There were many other children taken that day, including the son of King Leoric. The knights of the palace went below, but never returned. The blacksmith found the boy, but only after the foul beasts had begun to torture him for their sadistic pleasures. Oh, Gillian is a fine woman, much adored for her high spirits and her quick laugh. She holds a special place in my heart. She stays on at the tavern to support her elderly grandmother, who is too sick to travel. I sometimes fear for her safety, but I know that any man in the village would rather die than see her harmed. Ah, Pepin! I count him as a true friend, perhaps the closest I have here. He is a bit addled at times, but never a more caring or considerate soul has existed. His knowledge and skills are equaled by few, and his door is always open. An island where angels watched? Although Farnham's memory is often cloudy these days, that does seem familiar. Perhaps the ancient chronicles of the Sin War can help us. Ah, yes, here is something. In a time long forgotten, a sea of blue rested on the edge of the fiery netherworld. This was an oasis for those who acted as the watchmen over the gates of hell. Angels and warriors of light could use this place to heal themselves and gather their strength. It was also a staging area where they could train and prepare for the Sin War. Legends speak of a trinity of rocks that hide the path to this island of the sunless sea. The evil that you move against is the Dark Lord of Terror, known to mortal men as Diablo. It was he who was imprisoned within the labyrinth many centuries ago. Find Diablo, or we may never have a chance to rid the world of his evil again. This does not bode well, for it confirms my darkest fears. While I did not allow myself to believe the ancient legends, I cannot deny them now. Perhaps the time has come to reveal who I am. My true name is Deckard Cain, the Elder, and I am the last descendant of an ancient brotherhood that was dedicated to safeguarding the secrets of a timeless evil, an evil that quite obviously has now been released. The Archbishop Lazarus, once King Leoric's most trusted advisor, led a party of simple townsfolk into the labyrinth to find the king's missing son, Albrecht. Quite some time passed before they returned, and only a few of them escaped with their lives. Curse me for a fool! I should have suspected his veiled treachery then. It must have been Lazarus himself who kidnapped Albrecht and has since hidden him within the labyrinth. I do not understand why the Archbishop turned to the darkness, or what his interest is in the child, unless he means to sacrifice him to his dark masters. That must be what he has planned. The survivors of his rescue party say that Lazarus was last seen running into the deepest bowels of the labyrinth. You must hurry and save the prince from the sacrificial blade of this demented fiend. You must hurry and rescue Albrecht from the hands of Lazarus. The prince and the people of this kingdom are counting on you. Your story is quite grim, my friend. Lazarus will surely burn in hell for his horrific deed. The boy that you describe is not our prince, but I believe that Albrecht may yet be in danger. The symbol of power that you speak of must be a portal in the very heart of the labyrinth. Know this, my friend. The evil that you move against is the Dark Lord of Terror. He is known to mortal men as Diablo. It was he who was imprisoned within the labyrinth many centuries ago. and I fear that he seeks to once again sow chaos in the realm of mankind. You must venture through the portal and destroy Diablo before it is too late.
I want to tell you something, 'cause I know all about this stuff. It's my specialty. This here is the best. The best. That other ale ain't no good since those stupid dogs. No one ever listens to me. Somewhere, I ain't too sure, but somewhere under the church, the whole pile of gold, gleaming, shining, just waiting for someone to get it. I know you got your own ideas, and I know you're not gonna believe this, but that weapon you got there, it just ain't no good against those big brutes. Oh, I don't care what Griswold says. They can't make anything like they used to in the old days. If I was you, and I ain't, but if I was, I'd sell all that stuff you got and get out of here. That boy out there, he's always got something good, but you gotta give him some gold, or he won't even show you what he's got. Can't a fellow drink in peace? I don't care about that. Listen, no skeleton is gonna be my king. Leoric is king. King! So you hear me? Hail to the king! You know what I think? Somebody took that sign. They're gonna want lots of money for it. If I was Ogden, well, I'm not, but if I was, I'd just buy a new sign with some pretty drawing on it. Maybe a nice mug of ale. Ooh, or a piece of cheese. They stab, then bite, then they're all around you. Liar! Liar! They're all dead. Dead! Do you hear me? They just keep falling and falling. Their blood spilling out all over the floor. All his fault. You drink water? Listen. I don't even like worms. Don't tell me about your worms. I don't want your worms. Nope. No thanks. No worms for me. Okay, so listen. There's this chamber of wood, see? And his wife, her, tells the tree, because you gotta wait. Then I says that might work against him, but if you think I'm gonna pay for this, yeah. Sounds like a good idea to me. You better get started right away. Did you ever hear the one of the Cain tells? I love that one. Big cleaver, killing all my friends. Couldn't stop him. Had to run away. Couldn't save them. Trapped in a room with so many bodies. So many friends. No, you can't make me go back there. I won't let you take me. Too much pain. Too many dead. Can't get the blood out of my eyes. My mouth. Look here. That's pretty funny, huh? Get it? Blind? Look here. Like Diamond is dead. Everybody knows that, and you can't fool me into thinking any other way. You can't talk to the dead. I know. Griswold can't sell his anvil. What will he do then? And I'd be angry too if someone took my anvil. You're gonna hunt down a demon? Is that what you said? I know I didn't hear that. 'Cause nobody hunts down demons. Nope. Nobody. Always you gotta talk about blood. What about flowers and sunshine? And that pretty girl that brings the drinks. Listen here, friend. You're obsessive, you know that? Hey, let me see that. Thanks. I used to have a nice ring. It was a really expensive one. With blue and green and red and silver. Don't remember what happened to it, though. I really miss that ring. Ogden Mitts is a mean black mushroom, but I get sick if I drink that. Listen. Here's the secret. Moderation is the key. Listen here. Come close. I don't know if you know what I know, but you have really got something here. That's a map. Hey, you there. Come here, listen up. You know about the island where angels watch? Pick the right rocks, but you better shield your eyes. Shield everything. I know, 'cause I've been there, and... Ale. The gal that brings the drinks? Oh, yeah. What a pretty lady. So nice, too. Why don't that old crone do something for a change? Sure, she's got stuff. Well, you listen to me. She's unnatural. I ain't never seen her eat or drink, and you can't trust somebody who doesn't drink at least a little. Cain isn't what he says he is. Sure, he talks a good story. Some of them are real scary or funny. But I think he knows more than he knows he knows. Griswold? Good old Griswold. I love him like a brother. We fought together, you know, back when we... Lazarus! I like Pepper. He really tries, you know. Listen here, you should make sure you get to know him. Good fellow like that with people always wanting help. Hey, I guess I'd be kind of like you, hero. I was a hero too, you know, back when I was... I have an elderly priest around there, and if I did, I'd kick him right in the... Can't even keep a church free of those hell-spawned bastards. What good are they, huh? Those holy men. Liars. Wirt is a kid with more problems than even me, and I know all about problems. Listen here, that kid's got a sweet deal. He's been there, you know, lost a leg, gotta walk around on a piece of wood. So sad. Ogden is the best man in town. I don't think his wife likes me much, but as long as she keeps tapping kegs, I'll like her just fine. Seems like I've been spending more time with Ogden than most, but he's so good to me.
Good day. How may I serve you? I don't like to think about how the king died. I like to remember him for the kind and just ruler that he was. His death was so sad and seemed very wrong somehow. Oh my, is that where the sign went? My grandmother and I must have slept right through the whole thing. Thank the light that those monsters didn't attack the inn. I remember Lazarus as being a very kind and giving man. He spoke at my mother's funeral and was supportive of my grandmother and myself in a very troubled time. I pray every night that somehow he is still alive and safe. My grandmother is very weak, and Garda says that we cannot drink the water from the wells. Please, can you do something to help us? Wait. Before you say anything, my grandmother had a dream with giant slithering creatures in it. She also saw Pepin running from a house in the town. Do you think this means anything? I am afraid that I haven't heard anything about that. Perhaps Cain the storyteller could be of some help. This is something that is far beyond anything I have ever learned. I can only think of one person in all of Tristram who could help you. Cain, of course. When Farnham said something about a butcher killing people, I immediately discounted it. But since you brought it up, maybe it is true. How could you even think of going back to that place? What could be so important? If you have questions about blindness, you should talk to Pepin. I know that he gave my grandmother a potion that helped clear her vision, so maybe he can help you too. I've never heard of a Lacdanan before. I'm sorry, but I don't think that I can be of much help to you. Griswold's father used to tell some of us when we were growing up about a giant anvil that was used to make mighty weapons. He said that when a hammer was struck upon this anvil, the ground would shake with a great fury. Whenever the earth moves, I always remember that story. The story of the magic armor called Valor is something I often heard the boys talk about. You would better ask one of the men in the village. Those are the words of a drunkard. I don't see how they could be true. I heard that the priest Tremaine was going to perform an exorcism, but I didn't go. I don't see why we all have to spend every moment captive to what is lurking underneath our town. I know that many have died at the hands of these monsters, but we need to try to go on. I know that you have come here to free Tristram from the clutches of darkness, and I hope that one day we can live in peace again. If you are to battle such a fierce opponent, may light be your guide and your defender. I will keep you in my thoughts. A treasure map? Do you have it with you? Let me see. It looks like this is pretty old, and some of the buildings in the town are not on this map. Oh, I wish I could go and look for the treasure with you, but I have to start work soon. Well, a caravan of some very important people did stop here, but that was quite a while ago. They had strange accents and were starting on a long journey, as I recall. I don't see how you could hope to find anything that they would have been carrying. I think Ogden might have some mushrooms in the storage cellar. Why don't you ask him? The best person to ask about that sort of thing would be our storyteller. Cain is very knowledgeable about ancient writings, and that is easily the oldest-looking piece of paper that I have ever seen. Beg pardon, but have you heard what has been happening? Some of the men have vanished from the village. Disa's sons, Aeneas and Ruf, claim to have seen strange lights glowing deep within the woods a few days ago, but no one has heard from them since. I, too, have seen a crimson shimmering from beyond the ash groves, but I've been too afraid to approach it. I fear that Ogden or our healer Pepin may be next. Won't you please find out what has happened? Have you looked into what has caused those strange lights yet? There are more men missing since last we spoke, and I'm beginning to fear that soon we may all vanish. Demons that assume the form of beautiful women, you say? That's horrible! Thank the light that you solved this mystery before any more of our men were lured to their deaths. Thank you for keeping us safe from the powers of darkness once again. Pray your pardon, but I have something to tell you that you may find interesting. It was the strangest thing. While drinking at the tavern, Farnham was rambling about something called Azurath. He also said something about a fallen angel. It was hard to understand him because he was very drunk and disoriented, but I seem to remember something about a key in a barrel. He also kept covering his face and repeating the word Iswal over and over again. You know, now that I think about it, maybe it wasn't a key in a barrel, but a barrel that was the key. Does that make any more sense? Azurath and Iswal. I don't know why I didn't remember that story earlier. I've heard it often enough from my grandmother and Cain the storyteller. Well, I hope that my information was still more of a help than a hindrance. May light guide you, my friend. My grandmother often tells me stories about the strange forces that inhabit the graveyard outside of the church, and it may well interest you to hear one of them. She said that if you were to leave the proper offering in the cemetery, enter the cathedral to pray for the dead, and then return, the offering would be altered in some strange way. I don't know if this is just the talk of an old sick woman, but anything seems possible these days. I know that my grandmother's story seems strange, but the graveyard does have many mysteries surrounding it. It couldn't hurt you to put something there and see what happens, could it? Maybe you will find out something that will help us all. My grandmother had a dream about you last night. She said that in her dream you used your bare hands to defeat one of those foul monsters that lurk under the church. When it died, it exploded into fabulous treasure. Although she was a bit frightened by her dream, she was able to describe the beast quite clearly to me. My grandmother had that exact same dream again. She said you were quite brave and seemed very pleased with your prize. My grandmother had a dream that you would come and talk to me. She has visions, you know, and can see into the future. The woman at the edge of town is a witch. She seems nice enough, and her name, Adria, is very pleasing to the ear, but I'm very afraid of her. It would take someone quite brave like you to see what she is doing out there. Our blacksmith is a point of pride to the people of Tristram. Not only is he a master craftsman who has won many contests within his guild, but he received praises from our King Leoric himself. May his soul rest in peace. Griswold is also a great hero. Just ask Cain. Cain has been the storyteller of Tristram for as long as I can remember. He knows so much and can tell you just about anything. About almost everything. Farnham is a drunkard who fills his belly with ale and everyone else's ears with nonsense. I know that both Pepin and Ogden feel sympathy for him, but I get so frustrated watching him slip farther and farther into a befuddled stupor every night. Pepin saved my grandmother's life, and I know that I can never repay him for that. His ability to heal any sickness is more powerful than the mightiest sword and more mysterious than any spell you can name. If you ever are in need of healing, Pepin can help you. I really don't know much about the priest Tremaine. He never visits the tavern, preferring to keep to the company of Pepin and Cain. Perhaps it is because they too have more scholarly pursuits. I grew up with Wirt's mother, Canis. Although she was only slightly hurt when those hideous creatures stole him, she never recovered. I think she died of a broken heart. Wirt has become a mean-spirited youngster, looking only to profit from the sweat of others. I know that he suffered and has seen horrors that I cannot even imagine. But some of that darkness hangs over him still. Ogden and his wife have taken me and my grandmother into their home, and have even let me earn a few gold pieces by working at the inn. I owe so much to them, and hope one day to leave this place and help them start a grand hotel in the East.